So thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Usubakun. Today on the program, Presidency widens Justice Salami Panel's mandate, gives panel 45-day ultimatum. Chadian President Idris Deby laments on ending Boko Haram's attack despite military operations against them as bandits attack coffee in Katsina State. Still, grains, kidnap and rape people. And later on the show, Ondo State Deputy Governor Agbola Ajayi quits PDP, joins Zenith Labour Party to actualize governorship ambition. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, while Adekunle Yusuf will join us via Skype. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us again. Now, the cleansing process at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is getting more gusto from the presidency. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has given teeth to the panel investigating activities of the EFCC and the suspended chairman, Ibrahim Magu, over alleged fraud. The presidency also gave the chairman of the investigative panel, Justice Salami, 45 days to submit its report. Babajide, now this thing is taking, a bigger dimension now. It's when this thing started, it was all about Magu, but right now it's looking as if the president is beaming its searchlights on the activities of EFCC as a whole, to look at the operations from beginning to end, and Justice Salami's mandates. Panel will really be busy, and since they have 45 more days to submit their reports, I really don't know what is happening in the proceeding of that panel.
One of the things that made me happy that I read is the fact that he's been asked to conduct public hearing on the matter, which means Nigerians can come up with their own ideas of how the EFCC could be better run, or how the war against corruption can be fought resolutely. People can come up with ideas about what the EFCC is doing wrongly that they need to change. So, and then proceedings of the tribunal will then be made public, because journalists can then show up at the hearing and report what goes on there.
Because right now, what you have,
we've been hearing all sorts of
speculation,
funny stories,
planted stories,
I know that. In fact, at a point, Magu had to demand that CCTV should be installed in the venue of the sitting, so that whatever he says, whatever transpires, people can see, because people can come out and accuse him of saying this and accuse him of saying all kinds of things, and then it will be in all of the papers, especially the social media, and before you know it, Nigerians will actually take it as gospel. We saw a lot of stories earlier about Magu, about what goes on in the place. Some even claim that he slept in a mosque, whereas he never slept in the police mosque. They said he slept in a mosque, whereas they gave him a place to sleep at the police headquarters. We were reporting things that didn't happen. Magu never slept in any mosque. So all kinds of things are happening, but now the president has given a kind of legal teeth. This is what should have been done from the beginning. We talked about the manner in which he was picked up on the street like a common criminal and then dragged literally by his neck to go and face those people, as if he had declined invitations in the past. That's not how to treat someone who has laid down his life, worked for his country. But now the president has given legal teeth to this hearing, which means that in the course of doing this work, they have seen the need now to do something that is much more formal and is guaranteed to be thorough and in line with our law. So now Salami will operate in line with Section 1 of the Tribunals and Inquiry Act of 2004. So we'll see what comes out of that.
Adekunle Yusuf, hello, is Kule ready there? Yes,
Hello,
Kule.
bro.
What from this panel? Ultimately, what do you expect? What do you expect from this investigative panel?
Well, in life, sometimes it is better late than never. When you look at the way this entire probe panel started, I'm one of those who are not convinced, about certain things because the presidency got a lot of things wrong. Nobody is against the probe of the suspended chairman. Anybody, should be accountable. So we love probe of Magu and probe of anybody. But the way and manner they went about it, everything, brought about suspicions and you look at the whole thing, you see that the news, our stories emanating from the probe were not too good for the country, even for the mission or intention of the presidency, if I want to believe the intention is to probe Magu. But now there's an opportunity. I think maybe the presidency has realized that there are a lot of things they can do better. So this actually the best way to go about it. Why are you probing Magu in this? Is it a military matter that they normally do in secrecy? So now you want to bring it in the open. This president or this government has been fighting corruption the same way, to the best of my knowledge, the same way previous administrations, fought corruption. But that's not the best approach. The best approach to fight corruption is to make it almost impossible to steal money, to steal public funds. Now, if you probe Magu, maybe if this government is able to use this Magu probe to breathe life, to re-energize and restructure the operations of the agency. That is to say, it is better to prevent, just like they say in the medical field that prevention is better than cure, that it is better you prevent corruption from happening than spending humongous public funds to go after public office thieves. So now I'm expecting this probe to bring about new ways of fighting corruption, to make it impossible for even people who are in EFCC, if at all there is anything like mismanagement of recovered loot, to make it impossible for anybody to mismanage recovered loot. Then to come up with new ideas as to the best way. Nigeria is not the only country in the world. There are other countries. If you still there, it's almost certain that you'll be caught. But in Nigeria, whereby the EFCC will take people to court and will be running around for evidence and be going to court to seek, amendments, you want to alter charges, you want to come up with evidence that you need time to come up with charges. That's not the best way to fight corruption. We want an EFCC that when you start somebody to court, the public already knows that it's like the proverbial camel. It's easier for the proverbial camel to pass through the head of the needle. So that's the kind of thing we want to see. So if you can use this Magu Pro to achieve that, to be a brilliant thing.
Okay,
one of the legacies that.
Thank you, Adekunle. Babajide, the way we are looking at it, and why is it that it's still the same way the EFCC used to treat accused people, accused person? I've seen in other crimes that if you are actually accusing Magu that you have done A, B, and C, let's say now it was alleged that a certain amount was paid through FCMB to one of his pastor's friends and everything. We don't get this fact right. Would have done a kind of shoddy job, or at the end of the day, it is after when the trial starts, we start getting
the situation.
The situation. Tell us about this FCMB thing.
Before now, we were told that Magu had a pastor friend. And
there's nothing wrong about that.
I've heard people say, oh, a Muslim having a pastor friend, this and that, as if it's such a bad thing for you to have someone who prays for you belongs to another faith. After all, we always mouth the fact that we serve the same God. To some people, that is unheard of, for a Muslim to have a pastor as a friend. But this is a pastor who even claim that he has friends, that it's not Magu alone, he has friends across the different faiths. So that is by the side. When Magu traveled to have a hernia operation in Dubai, this pastor visited him. Magu traveled with his wife. Magu got the president's permission to go and have that hernia operation. So the pastor visited him. The story that was in the papers was, oh, that pastor took EFCC money, or money that Magu had saved, to buy houses or a house for him in Dubai. And the pastor said, look, I have not taken any money from Magu. If you have evidence of this, present it. And then he threatened to take the news agency of Nigeria to court. Remember, some of these
from none.
Yes, some of them, even some of the stories that were later discovered to be untrue, like the claim that Magu did not audit accounts for 4 years and all that, something that the National Assembly members easily deflected, that was not true. He came before us, he presented it. So some of those stories, we had all kinds of stories. Now this one, the interesting thing about this is, and the FCMB MD, he appeared before the panel on Thursday. He claimed that the money that they mistakenly posted 573 million or so into the account of that pastor. Now, the questions Nigerians have been asking is, why didn't the pastor report that he found money in his account? But what the pastor has been telling friends is that he never saw any alert. So what happened? And the bank is saying there are 27 other people that we mistakenly, that they moved to a different platform and they had all kinds of issues with it, that there were 27 other persons that they posted money in error to their accounts. That the pastor was not the only one. And that church, what the pastor is saying, that the church is a small branch, and all of the money there in the account of the church was not even up to 20 million. So if indeed the pastor is, by a letter addressed to the pastor on August 6th, is supposed to face that panel today. So yes, the bank has apologized, but I don't think it's enough. What happened? Somebody is not telling the truth. How did the money find its way into the pastor's account?
Mistakenly, this same pastor that is
yes,
Magu's
that
friend.
You are accused. Yes, you are. Is Magu's
What a
friend.
coincidence.
Yes. How did he find his way into that account? It's not enough to apologize. Heads need to roll over matters like this, and I don't think Nigerians have had enough. There are still questions for the bank to answer. If since 2016 you made a mistake, and this is the first time that you are admitting it, they are saying that, oh, until they were invited, they never knew that that thing was an error. Who would believe that? It just sounds like, how do you call it that? Like an Oscar kind of award-winning drama. So what is going on? Was this meant to set somebody up? Because if he's claiming, and it is possible for you to receive, for money to be paid into your account without seeing alert.
Severally.
It happens. Now, he's saying that he did not see the alert. 573 million. If you had, and it's not a personal account, it's a church account. So it's not even possible that you alone will be the one that saw it. The account officer for the church was also said to have claimed that she never saw that kind of money. So what is going on? What happened along the line? And how come after 4 years This is the time that we are knowing that this just happened. And if the NFIU was tipped off, because the compliance officer has a duty to say, oh, I've seen a lodgement in this account. If the compliance officer notified NFIU, what was the action that was taken? NFIU or EFCC, what action was taken at that time? So there are all kinds of Nigerians need to know more. I'm just surprised.
Adekunle Yusuf, now we have this back and forth. At the end of the day, the war on corruption, I don't know the state of EFCC right now. The chairman is suspended. We have, is he acting chairman? I don't know, maybe that person is even acting right now. But everything should, a lot of Nigerians believe that everything should just happen on time so that they can move on. We can know the fate of these guys.
Yes, I actually don't want Magu humiliated, not because I believe he's innocent. It should be proved in a way that will not create problem for anybody that takes over that kind of job, for our country in the future. You see, look at the FCMB thing that Jide just talked about. Is that not embarrassing enough? We are not talking about 500 naira. We are not talking about 500,000 naira.
You credited
we are
somebody's
talking
accounts.
about 500 million. And you mean you can credit me with so much money without me requesting? Believe me, I don't buy the story. And just as Jide said, the government, and even the management of the bank needed to do, more on this. People needed to, they needed to suffer for certain things, because how do you send more than 500 million naira into my account? And just like that, that's a lot of money. So, and you just wave it at that and say you didn't get a lot. And that's all. Believe me, a lot of things I believe is fishy about that. The government need to do something about that. Then come back to Magu. I don't want this probe to be seen as a way to humiliate Magu. If he has committed any crime, just get it, into the legal process. Just charge him to court, prosecute him, and do the right thing. Because if it gets too long, the way we are going about it, as if Magu is the only one that there are many. We need to do this job in a way that will not humiliate Magu. Even if he has committed any offense, he should be taken to court, charges preferred against him, and do the whole thing in a very neat manner. We need to do it in a way that shows transparency. So far, I've not seen any transparency in this Magu probe, and the government has a second chance to show Nigerians that the whole thing about Magu probe is for transparency, for accountability, is in the national interest, and that's what I want to see.
Jide, finally, people have been talking about moving forward if the federal government wants to really fight corruption, choosing the head of that agency. That it's not compulsory a policeman we have to lead that agency. We've seen in the last couple of leaders that have led the agency, one, and number two, a system should involve that would not make the president just choose somebody solely and the person will be loyal to Mr. President, and the fight against corruption might therefore not be independent.
Yes, both the EFCC and ICPC, in my view, are not wholly independent. They are still, the leaders are still subject to some level of dictation from political actors, especially the ruling party. And that was why I suggested that the manner of even recruiting the leader of EFCC should change. The law should be amended in such a way that we will not just, independence will not just be part of the name of that anti-corruption body. It will be seen that in the real sense, these agencies are truly independent. And that also the INEC itself should also be in the mix. I would rather put INEC in the mix because INEC needs to be thoroughly independent if it is to do its job dispassionately and if it is to help us achieve our aim of having free, fair, and credible elections. Politicians are selfish. Politicians get involved in the day-to-day running of these agencies. And when you look at those who had been EFCC chairmen in the past, none of them left on a happy note. So that should tell you that it is a tough job. Somehow you will step on toes. And when you step on toes, the big politicians will come for you. They will make sure that you do not go far. I blame the president back then that because Magu's problem that began in the Senate would not have happened if they had sent his name earlier for clearance to happen. Magu had begun arraigning even members of the Senate. He had begun trying some of them before the issue of sending his name for clearance came up. You know, even Saraki, his trial had begun. So how do you expect them to be happy to confirm someone who is going for their jugular? So a lot of things need to change. And as he said, we hope that this the panel will now conduct its sitting in public. We can see what will happen, and questions should be. Journalists can direct questions at people instead of what is happening now. That is actually those who attend who give information to journalists, sometimes misleading journalists. So it should be conducted in the open.
All right, the insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria is on the ascendancy. To the chagrin of most of us, the president of Chad, Idris Deby, is lamenting that the insurgents are still running riot in that region, despite military operations to cut them to size. President Deby added that the group will continue to cause mayhem. Meanwhile, bandits stormed Kofi community in Kofi local government area of Katsina State, shot people and carted away foodstuffs. The bandits also raped some residents and kidnapped a 30-year-old in the attack. Adekule, I don't get it. Immediately, the Chadian troops, after carrying out their operations, I thought that might be, that will just incapacitate Boko Haram for some time. Immediately, Boko Haram went on rampage almost immediately, and they're everywhere now, not only Nigeria.
Yes, even if we want to rely on the Chadian, military, there's a limit to what they can do. In terms of territory, they can't just be all over. But despite what our military has done over the years, insurgency is still a big problem for us. We've not been able to, decapitate banditry and insurgency. So it's still a big problem. And each time we talked about it, the thing that normally comes up, I'm not particularly happy. That why don't you try new tactics? Why don't you try new things? Try new leaders, if possible. But unfortunately, the president doesn't seem to, agree totally with this. He still believes, the current leaders of the military leaders can do the work. But to me, I'm not impressed. Look at what is happening all over Nigeria now. You have banditry, you have, all sorts of, criminal things happening. People are no longer, safe. So for how long are we going to continue with this? I think the president needs to have a change of mind on this. What we're having right now, if it continues, I don't know what will happen before we approach 2023, because the rate of insecurity in Nigeria now is a big problem. Before we used to think it's only about Northeast, no longer Northeast. It's all over Nigeria. I've had opportunity to travel to Northwest, and many of the states there, especially Sokoto, that I used to describe as a very peaceful state, is no longer peaceful. You see a lot of banditry all over. When they visit any village, they destabilize everything.
All right, Adekule Yusuf, we take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangouts. We'll be right back after this time out. Please don't go away. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangouts. We're reaching you live from TVC News, and we are looking at the state of insecurity in the northeastern part of the country. And Julie, before we talk about Katsina, it's very even Idris Deby, the way he's talking now, he's surprised how are these people multiplying?
You know, he said that on Chadian soil, Boko Haram no longer has any form of habitation, but that they come in at night to commit crimes and go back. Just recently, Boko Haram ambushed some Chadian soldiers and killed 8 of them. So it's not as if they've left him alone. You know, Shekau was saying, look, we will come for you. So it's not as if they've left him alone. It's an international terrorist organization. They kill people in Niger Republic. They kill people in Cameroon, especially northern Cameroon. You know, because we share borders with these countries, they can easily move in and come back into Nigeria. They can easily move from Niger Republic into Chad and quickly come back into Niger because, of course, Niger is not as policed as Chadian territory. So this is the situation. He's saying that the way it is now, that these guys, this thing will not end anytime soon because they continue to carry out those attacks and then they melt away, they disappear. So that is what he's saying. He's happy to say, in my country, they no longer have any territory that they are operating from. But you still know the islands of the Lake Chad, they are still very much present there. In fact, the Abanawi faction, they still have presence in that area. You know that they held it for some time, the Chadians held it for some time and then left. They held on to that Nigerian territory for some time and then left. My suspicion was that a lot of them were not killed. Even when the Chadians carried out that week-long operation, maybe they were anticipating the attack. If you carried out an attack that eventually killed more than 100 Chadian soldiers, you should expect a fight back. You should expect a retaliation. So maybe they knew that retaliation would come and they decided to hide a lot of their fighters. They ran away because I was surprised that after that, a lot of them ran back into Nigerian territory. They left that area, came into Nigerian territory, and ended up in the Sambisa. You know, moving through the night with a few of their gun trucks that were left. So this is a resilient group. And from criminality, from abductions that they do, from the funding that they get from the apparent body, which is Islamic State, they can find the money to recruit boys who have nothing to do in Mali, some of those fighters from Mali.
Mercenaries.
Yes. You see, I was showing someone, I said, I always say that it is wrong to imagine that, oh, these Kanuris, they are the ones killing themselves. I saw when the Chadians got hold of Boko Haram, they were cutting the hair. I'm sure you remember that video.
Yes.
One of them had dreadlocks.
Long one.
Yes, and they were cutting the guy. So you cannot tell me that the guy was looking like Bob Marley. He's a Kanuri man. There are paid fighters. There are people that they simply give them money to come and fight. Either they are Chadian rebels or even rebels all the way from Mali. There was this warning that I made at that time that if we did not crush them completely, immediately, that they have a way of mutating, of recovering. After all, they recovered after 2015. They have a way of recovering, and then we'll start battling them again. So, in my view, this is what has happened, but our soldiers must not be demoralized. We must continue to work with the Multinational Joint Task Force to continue to take the battle to these people. Let's not wait until they strike in the community. We should go and meet them where they are. After all, when they killed those Chadian troops in Bohoma, the Chadian fighters went to their own location to go and crush them there, to go and kill them where they were. So it's not as if we do not know where these people are. We should take the battle to them. And the consequences, take the battle to them and finish them off.
And the same challenge we have in the Northwest, that especially Katsina states, are you not worried that Katsina State, over time, the state of insecurity has been alarming and getting out of hand.
Yes, I'm worried. I will not lie to you because until this coronavirus lockdown, I was always, traveling around Nigeria. What you see, that I don't think there's any state in the core north now, as we like to say it, that is really safe. The banditry is a real, problem to people all over, northern parts of the country, and it's so bad that you see so many people in thousands that are displayed, and this happens virtually every day. So if you are talking about Boko Haram, you should talk also about banditry. They are ferocious and dangerous as Boko Haram as well. So when any village they see, they enter to the cart away their cattle, get everything upside down and loot, rape, maim, and kill people. So it's a big problem, and up till now, I'm not convinced we are using the right strategy. Because if we are getting things right, I think this problem should be subsiding instead of getting worse as we have it.
Are we not overwhelmed?
You can't even see a clear strategy that is working. There could be a strategy, but you can't see evidence that the strategy is working. Because these guys, okay, look at Kurufi that they attacked.
Yes.
Kurufi is just about 40 kilometers to the state capital.
Really?
Yes. It's not far. So how come these people will operate for over an hour and we could not apprehend anybody? They managed to spirit the people that they kidnapped into the bush. They managed to escape.
It's almost like Dara to
Very close to the
capital.
very close to the state capital. It's very close. We should be able to respond rapidly and in record time to distress calls. If it was something that happened in all those remote villages, usually the roads are not good, those places are largely inaccessible.
Yes.
But we are talking about a place
Something that
not
is
far
very
from
close.
the state capital. I mean, ask anybody who is from Katsina or who is familiar with that area. It's not far at all. It's not far. Within 20 minutes,
worrisome.
we should be able to get to the place. 20 minutes maximum. We get to the place and serve justice on these guys. But if they continue to attack communities and they get away with it, they will become emboldened and they will move closer and closer.
Yes.
See, Boko Haram, we were saying before, they were not entering Maiduguri now. But in recent times, they've been entering Maiduguri to the point of even coming during Salah to launch mortar attacks on innocent citizens right inside Maiduguri township. So this is the thing. If we give these guys leeway to operate, they will become emboldened and they will become more dangerous. I am wondering what we have done to the armed bandits, the bandits that killed our soldiers, when our soldiers were going to launch an attack on the base of the leader of the bandits in Jibia local government area in Shimfida. What have we done? I'm really interested in knowing whether we have served justice on this, because you shouldn't just kill soldiers and get away with it. They killed soldiers and they even admitted that they did it. So what's going on? We have to step up our game. The strategy has to be better. I'm happy that the Northeast governors have appealed to the president to provide more weapons, because weapons will assist. When you have weapons, even you will be more confident to fight. You can imagine, give policemen, they are suggesting that the policemen should be better armed than others. They should provide them what they need. You can imagine policemen have APCs, for example. Of course, they will be ready to die. When Americans were being killed by Iraqis in Fallujah and other places with IEDs, what did the American Ministry of Defense do? They went and built the mine resistance and ambush protected vehicles that could withstand IEDs. And I can tell you, between 2007 and 2012, they flooded Iraq with 12,000 MRAPs. By June 2008, the USA Today had reported that the rate of fatalities of American troops had gone down by 70%.
Because of that MRAP.
Yes. That's what a good equipment, a good fighting equipment can do for you.
To
It's not
neutralize the
that one is just
capacity
making
of
noise. This is the truth. This is verifiable. So if we have the right equipment, we'll be able to take the battle to these guys and we'll be able to deal decisively with them.
All right. Moving on now. Ambition, they say, drives the man. For the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Honorable Agbola Ajayi, there's nothing stopping him from realizing his ambition of governing the Southwest states 48 days after dumping the All Progressive Congress, APC, for the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Honorable Ajayi is on the move again. He has quit the PDP, where he's lost for the governorship, where he lost the governorship primaries to join the boots of another party. This time around, Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. His eyes are fixed on the October 10th governorship election. Jide, I saw the movements, and then after the one from the APC down to the PDP, and he didn't pick the ticket, and I expected that he would join hand with the PDP, because as at that time he moved to the PDP, he claimed to be one of the founding members of PDP in Ondo States. So that he's coming home, that this is his home. So in less than 1 month, this man has found himself in 3 political parties. I think something is from somewhere.
Yes, that's what ambition can do to you. Ambition will tell you that, look, you are better than everyone. You can do it.
After all, you have the money.
And politicians always have around them people who make them overly optimistic. People who only tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, yes.
There are some politicians that, if you make a habit of telling him the truth, you just see that he will start hating you. So some people do some research. Some people deal with politicians. They do some research. They try to get to know what he wants over some issues, over some individuals, and then go to tell him that. So that one would think, oh, this person is truly inspired. This advice that he has given me is inspired. Meanwhile, he had researched your true intentions. And because he does not want you to hate him, because you have made a habit of hating people who are bold enough to tell you the truth, you then begin to be happy with him. You bring some people around. They don't like those who tell them the truth. But I think that when you look at Agbola Ajayi, what he thinks, there are 3 strong candidates, and each of them fancy their chances of winning in their respective senatorial zones. The governor is from the north. He wants a second term. Agbola Ajayi is from the south. The people of the south are saying, oh, we've never had a better chance like this. This is our chance. And there are 6 local governments. So, of course, from Central, you have Jegede. The people of Akure, they are saying, look, this time around, is either the Akure son or no one else. So, what he probably thinks is, look, I can deliver all the local governments in my senatorial zone. Jegede will clear his own senatorial zone. The governor too will clear his senatorial zone. Everyone will do well in the area where he's strong. So what you can pick from the is what will determine who wins at the end of the day. And it is impossible to discountenance this analogy, because I know that they are all strong in their respective senatorial zones. But at the end of the day, the person who will win is the person who can grab votes
from outside at the expense
from
of
from his enemies.
Stronghold.
When you win handsomely in your own zone, and then you get some good enough votes.
That's what happened to Akiti. Akiti got more votes from the Akure axis.
That last time.
Yes, the last time. And he's from the north. And he got a lot of Akure votes. So for him.
Now, if you look at to this time, I saw that all of them were appealing to Mimiko. Even the governor of your state has gone to Mimiko several times. They still see Mimiko as a factor. Because Mimiko will deliver those two local governments, Ondo, I think Ondo West and Ondo East, I can't remember. If he delivers those areas, Ondo East. So if he delivers the votes from those areas, then to Agbola would think that if he gets Mimiko's full support, you know, the relationship between Mimiko and the Itayo is not that good. So Agbola will be thinking that he can get the votes from his area and still get some from Mimiko. This is the way politicians think. You know?
Don't you think, you know, politicians, the level of optimism, because don't forget, Zenith Labour Party participated in the last election. I will tell you that it's the same Mimiko that ran for senatorial election under this Zenith Labour Party, and it was third in the central zone there. He couldn't even win his so-called enclave. So what is the optimism that Agbola is leaving APC, PDP to go and join a party, not even Labour Party, Zenith Labour Party?
Well, Jide has tried to say it. Let me tell you, ambition, especially the political ones, they are like rum or whiskey. The way they drive our politicians, you won't believe it. Because how would somebody within 2 months from one party to another? Don't you think about what the public will be saying? That are you so desperate? Is it about the people, yourself, or who? See,
maybe
to me, he doesn't have good advice.
Maybe he wants
He
to
does not have
PDP for not picking him.
No,
Or for not convincing Jegede to let him be deputy.
Don't worry, if he's that serious, he will know what to do. I don't think he has a chance in this game. The game is between Jegede and the Cobent governor. You see, you have just moved. You don't know Mimiko. If you know Mimiko, is that the kind of person you will go to bless you, to assist you to become governor? Who brought out Eita Jegede in the first place? Is it not the same Mimiko? And if Mimiko is still a factor and his political party now, as a Zenith Labour Party, is a factor in Ondo politics. Why didn't he win? Because he wanted, you know, the National Assembly to some people now is a home for retired governors. He wanted to join his retired governor's colleague. Did he achieve the ambition? And that's the man you went to. Believe me, if Mimiko has a platform.
Okay, let's give a voice to the deputy governor's aide here. I have his media aide online. Alan Shore is the media aide to the deputy governor. He's joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, my brother, and good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening, Shore. Now,
yes.
What is the driving factor? What is driving deputy governor to be running around?
The people are at the center of his ambition and aspiration. You know, the people asked the deputy governor in 2016 to join the APC. He was a member of PDP. He did join, and the APC won. And the government, the present government, was produced by APC. APC has programs. We have a laudable program. But when the government was derailing, particularly on the issue of education, the people asked the deputy governor, you cannot continue with this government that is making our students, our wards, to drop out of Adekunle Ajasin University. About 300% increment. And he moved to the PDP to rescue the people of the state. When we get to the PDP, the national leadership of the PDP were so welcoming, they were accommodating, but the state executive were hostile. And we suspected that there is a kind of relationship that exists. between the state executive of the PDP and the present government that we are trying to oust. So the deputy governor issued a statement congratulating the winner, Ita Yajegede, and the people said, no, you have to look for alternative platform.
But, Mr. Allen, you are not telling this man the truth. Did
I
you
am
tell
telling
him
you the truth.
Is it a
If
do or die
if
affair?
you follow the event truly, those states, has anybody, either from ABGA or any political party, become to PDP after the primary? These are the indices. And people are saying the deputy governor had to be on the ballot. Let us try it with the wishes of the generality of the people. So he's looking for credible alternative. And the politicians are coming together to say, look, we must rescue Ondo State. This is not what we want, Ondo State. So
before I let you go, why Zenith Labour Party?
The deputy governor is people, the people.
Allen,
Yes, sir.
when you look at the politics of our country, there are usually two dominant parties. And those two dominant parties always carry the day. But this looks like a third force now. Do you think it can go far with a little-known political party?
Okay, Mr. Allen, let me just hold your thought, Mr. Allen. Let me take this breather. Hello, Mr. Allen Shore, just hold on. Let me take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. Welcome back. I still have Mr. Allen Shore. Allen Shore is the media aide to the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, and he has just joined the Zenith Labour Party to pick the governorship ticket. You were telling us about the chances of the Deputy Governor.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm telling you that I know Ondo State, the electorate are very sophisticated. Let me give you since 1999 in Nigeria, this return of democracy, that Ikubet has always lost election. Ondo State, you follow the trajectory. In 2003, Adefayati, who was the Ikube, lost to Agagu of the PDP in 2007. PDP, then Dr. Olusegun Agagu, lost to Dr. Olusegun Mimiko. The same thing happened in 2016. His party lost to the present governor, Akeredolu. So, even in the last election, 2019 election, the National Assembly election, the PDP won. Presidential election, the PDP won. We have SDP winning. In the State Assembly, we have Zenith Labour Party. So it is the candidate that matters in Ondo State. It's not the party. So the chance of the deputy governor is very bright with the political permutation and the coming together of politicians in Ondo State. The truth of the matter is that people are just looking for credible alternatives to take government back to the people. So either the platform is any Labour Party or it is ALGA. It does not matter to the people of Ondo State. They just want somebody who can rescue them, somebody who can win election.
At the end of the day, Allen, this will look like playing into the hands of the incumbent, because by the time the other parties are tearing themselves apart, destroying each other's chances, the incumbent will just walk in and carry the day.
It is not likely. Yeah, you will follow this. By the time the deputy governor is fed officially to Zenith Labour Party, and you see people who are in government, politicians, the campaign, but in 1 or 2 weeks, you will know that there are no politicians left in that government. And you can see this. Even the government already...
Okay, we have to leave there. Mr. Allen Shore, now of the Zenith Labour Party, that's the spokesman to the Deputy Governor of Ondo State. Babajide, what else can we add?
No, we can't.
Till the 10th of October.
We can only wish them good luck, all the contestants. It promises to be an interesting contest. As I've said, all of them will do well in their various editorial zones, but whoever can pick
across
from the territorial zones of his rivals,
yes,
whoever can pick substantial votes from there, that is the person who will win. If you remember, Memeko just barely got re-elected. You know, in fact,
barely, yes, I
yes.
remember.
If you look at the votes of his rivals, the votes of the rivals were higher than his own votes, which means if they had come together, they will have defeated him. You know, so it promises to be an interesting contest, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, we have to leave it there. I want to thank you, Adekunle Yusuf. Thank you for your contribution on today's program. Yeah, the maestro himself, BKO, thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our other platforms showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.